And we're live! Hi everyone!
Hi!
Hey!
Welcome to another round of reading sprints for the OlympicsAthon. It's the final week of the OlympicsAthon. It's insane. We're getting closer to the end of it all, and I'm having a bit of a life crisis because of that. But today I am joined by these lovely ladies. Would you like to introduce yourselves? Let's start here.
Okay, so I'll go first. Hi, everyone. I'm Anna from the Book Dreamer Sally. That's my channel. I'm from Spain, but I live in Colombia at the moment. And I have been participating in the OlympicsAthon from the first OlympicsAthon ever. And I'm really glad I'm back here, but I am behind. I'm a bit stressed out because I am behind, but because I have many things started. So I plan on finishing stuff today.
Sounds perfect.
And I'm
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Kirsty, aka K-Beth Bookish. I genuinely don't know where I'm at on this readathon. I kind of forgot to keep track of anything. I've just been really enjoying my reading. So I will at some point go back and look. But yeah, I mostly sort of read fantasy, but I've been persuaded by a few people to try more genres. So like Charlotte got me to try Frederick Backman few weeks ago, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So yeah.
Good influence.
Yeah.
Yeah. And both their channels should be linked in the description box. So please check them out. If you haven't yet, give them a follow. They deserve it. Cool. And yeah, you probably know me by now. I'm Charlotte. That's about it. But yeah, so today we're gonna do some reading and work on our TBRs for the end of this readathon. And I actually realized yesterday that I only have 3 books to go before I have completed the entire readathon, which I'm very excited about. And 2 of them I have already started. One is an audiobook I'm currently listening to, and another is an ebook. But now during these sprints, I plan on starting the third one out of those, and that is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. So yeah, this will be a reread for me, but I have not read it physically before, so I'm excited about that. I have some tabs prepared as well. I want to tab it and highlight it. And yeah, it's not too long either, which is really good. It's about 180 pages. So for me, this will be for South America for the continents prompt, and also it's a translated book because it was originally written in Portuguese, I think, and I'm reading it in English. So this is what I need to get done. We'll see how far I get today. But yeah, very excited. What will all of you be reading? Let us know.
I'm
Anna.
going to start. Spanish. Akhenaton. This is about the. This is in Spanish, and it is translated. So
Nice.
also doubling up there, and from Arabic, and it's about the pharaoh from Egypt. He's the most famous
Oh,
pharaoh ever. The kind of one.
interesting.
And that's the first one. Second, I'll try and finish Heartstopper 2.
Ooh, fun. How
And
much do you
then
have left of
I'll
each book?
try. I have Heartstopper 2. I'm on page 119 out of nearly 300, but and this one that is a historical fiction, I have 52 pages left. So
That's good.
I should make it. I should make it.
Yeah. Cool. Nice.
I'm going to be reading Silver Silence by Nalini Singh. Like anyone who knows me and knows my channel knows that she's like my goddess writer. Like she's my all-time favorite. And this is my favorite book in the series. And then I have been brave, and this is the first time that I've ever actually taken like a highlighter to my book, and I'm actually annotating in the book. So I'm just sort of like making notes on like who each of the characters are and how they're related, because it's such a big universe now. There's like 20-something books. So it does sometimes get a bit confusing. If by some chance I finish this, I then have A Vow So Bold and Deadly, which is the last in the Cursebreaker series, to do, and I only started that like the other day.
Nice.
But
I'm getting optimistic about finishing some books.
yeah, like this one shouldn't take me too long. And Nalini, like I read the first like 200 pages in just about an hour and a half, because I'm so fast when I read her books. So we'll see.
Is it a series where the first book is Angel's Blood, or is that a different series?
That's a different series. That's the Guild Hunter series. This one starts with Slave to Sensation and is called Psy Changeling. And of the two series, Psy Changeling is my favourite of the two.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I have the first book in the Guild Hunters series then, and I'm really excited about that one because I'm
It is so good.
Angels.
Please do read it. I need someone to fangirl with.
Yeah, hopefully if I enjoy that one, I might be able to like check into that series as well, because it sounds really fun, and I've seen you talk about it on your channel.
Yeah, just a couple of times.
I have to check the author because I haven't read anything by them.
Yeah. Hello everyone. Hi Sophie. Hello. Thanks for joining. I'm reading a Belgian book to represent my country. Awesome. Which one? Share which one you're reading, please. Hi, I'm not participating in Readathon, but I'm reading After by Anna Todd. Fun! I hope you enjoy it. And you're very welcome, even though you're not participating in the Readathon. That is completely fine. I'm not a Readathon, but I need some sprints. I'm hopping in here. Once again, very welcome.
Yeah.
If you're a reader, you have a book, you're welcome.
Exactly. That's the entire point, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, you'll definitely finish that book in these sprints. So that is good. Good afternoon from Maryland. About 70% through Big Little Lies. We'll probably finish it tonight or tomorrow, and then I will have one book left in the challenge. That is incredible. Wow. People are doing so well. I saw the Discord that some people have actually already finished their entire TBR with like time to spare. Wow. That's incredible. Wow. Reading the second book in the Fever series by Karen Marie Moning.
I love that series.
Which one is it? Fever series.
So it starts with Fever, and then you got Fae, Fever. There's like lots of different ones, and they all have like the name Fever in there. You basically got this American girl called Michaela, who her sister was studying in Ireland and is killed. And everyone's like put it down to it's a cold case and there's no leads, but she just won't let it go. So she ups and moves to Ireland, but she discovers the world of the Fae and that she herself has these powers and abilities. But personally, I think Mac goes through one of the best character developments I've ever seen, ever. I'm not going to say much because obviously only being the second book, but yeah, and Barron's is probably one of my all-time favourite male character leads of anything. But it's a trigger warnings for certain things, like there is like sexual assault and things later on in the series, and it's like not a series for the faint-hearted. There's a lot of swearing and it is very heavy on the smut, but it is so good.
Sounds fun. I might need to look into that one too. Let's see some more. I'm reading Outland. I also think I'm gonna start something else. Okay, cool.
I'm dying to read that one.
It's called Onder Universum in Dutch, but it hasn't been translated into English. Literally, it would be Under Universe. It's a sci-fi book. Cool. Sounds fun.
Love sci-fi.
Hi, I'm going to be editing a video to begin with. That's great. Being productive.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm planning to read a few chapters of my reread of Harry Potter Book 1 and want to start The 10th Kingdom by Catherine Weasley. Weasley or Wesley, perhaps. Sorry.
Okay.
Never mind. Hi everyone, I'm reading Bear the Nightingale from Winter Prompt. That's a great choice.
Love that.
I've heard amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, you read it?
Actually, I'm I just finished the last in the trilogy, and I really
Ooh.
loved it. I couldn't connect emotionally to the first one. Actually, it was very rationally analyzed by me. But when I read the second one, I cried twice, and
Mm,
Oh,
then
okay.
the third one was like, okay, I just love this. Like,
I
I'm
might need to
I have
add
kidneys
that to my
here.
TBR. Actually, I've only heard
I might
amazing
need
things.
I
Love
might
it,
need to
love it.
reread because I've read the first book and I didn't really. I think I only gave it like a 3 star. I didn't like it very much, but
Read
I
the
might
second
have to
one.
try it again.
It, you
Oh,
may want to try the second one because I did connect emotionally on the second, and I've heard several people with the same
Okay,
opinion. Mm.
I'll give it another go.
It's
easily
worth it.
convinced.
Yes, I
It's a
am.
rereading fever. Haven't read the 11th book yet, so I'm rereading the entire thing before I do 11th
Wow.
book. Now when I hear of other fans of it. 11 books in the freaking series? Oh wow. That's
Yeah, it
incredible.
kind of like went on hiatus for a little bit, and then she just suddenly, like 3 years ago, was like, "Hey, I'm coming back, and I have a whole load more." And it was like, "Wait, what?"
Okay. In during the sprints, I'm gonna add this to my Goodreads. Actually, yeah, I need to know more.
I want to add the one
Cool.
you're reading, Kirsty. The one you're reading, uh, even though you said it's 20 something books in the series,
Oh yeah, the Nalini.
but I'm intrigued by that title. Quite intrigued.
Oh, what, the Psy Changeling? If you want, I can.
Changeling.
I'll put it in the chat, like the title and the author, if that helps.
Yeah,
Thank
please do
you.
Yeah.
that.
Yes, it
Please share it.
will.
Cool. So I'll start preparing for the sprints. We're gonna start with a 30-minute sprint, and we'll actually only do 30-minute sprints today is the plan. So hopefully you all are in the mood for like middle middle long sprints in the middle in between sprints. But yeah, so we're gonna do our first 30-minute sprint, and we'll see for how long we go. Uh, so I'm gonna just share my screen. And there I see that the book is in the chat as well, which is amazing. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Awesome. So
I
let's
can.
start our first sprint. Good luck and happy reading.
Okay.
Happy reading.
Happy reading.
And there we go. That was the first round of sprints, everyone. Please share with us, how did you do?
10 pages to go in hard stop. 10 pages from the graphic novel.
Ooh, fun. Still finish it in the next one then.
I managed 25
Oh,
pages,
it's
but
impossible not to smile. Sorry.
It's cute. It's a cute one. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
It's impossible.
What were you saying, Kitty?
I did 25 pages, but I made a few notes, so that slowed me down a little bit, and then I had to disappear for like 10 minutes because I just needed to go and do a couple of bits. But yeah, hopefully in the next sprint I can try and get about 50 pages done.
Cool. Nice. Are you enjoying your reread of it?
Oh, of course. Like,
That is
I
great.
don't think any of her books has ever gotten less than 4.5 stars for me. Like, they've all been 4, 4.5 and 5
Wow.
stars from day one. So they're always a joy and a pleasure to go back to.
That's cool. Yeah, I just added that series
What
to
about
my
you?
want to read list.
Awesome.
What you, Charlotte? How did you do?
I read 30 pages exactly according to this. So there was like a bit of a preface with an author's note and stuff like that. But yeah, now I'm into the story, and so far I'm really enjoying it. It's good. I understand why it's so popular. It talks a lot about wanting to go after your dreams and stuff like that. I like it. Let's see how everyone else is doing. We have some people join as well. Hello. Hi, everybody. I'm reading The Ruin of Kings. Nice. We had Tina, who read 20 pages. Amazing. 22 pages, read Sophie. 27 pages of The 10th Kingdom. That's really good. 20 pages. Damn, people are keeping up. I have almost finished editing my video. I should finish it next sprint, and then I can read. Nice. Joined late and read 15 pages. Still read a bunch, so that is really good.
Yeah.
Cool. Have any of you been keeping up with the Olympics?
I haven't had the time, to be honest. Either read or keep up with the Olympics.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? It's intense to do both.
And work and study and
Yeah, true.
Certain events I've made time for, so like the figure skating I stayed up for and watched it live. Curling, I have been keeping up with that. But then everything else, it's just kind of like, if I turn the TV on and something's on, I'll just have it on in the background.
Yeah, I think that's pretty nice to just put it on and have it going.
Yeah. I just get the catch-ups and the highlights, but yeah, not been as into it this year. But I think it's because obviously my headspace is in a different place to where it was last Olympic.
Yeah,
so,
understandable. Yeah. No, I've actually been keeping up with it pretty well this year. So I'm watching it a lot in the mornings because a lot of the skiing events are in the mornings. And then also actually at my office, we have a big TV just right where I sit. So we just have it on in the background and I can just glance up and see what's going on. So that is pretty nice. So I've been keeping up quite well. And especially when we have had like major chances for medals, I have made sure to like jot down the time so I would be able to watch it live. So it's been fun, I think.
I'm looking forward to next time though, because at least with it being in Italy, it'll only be an hour ahead, and I think Italy's in the same time zone as you, isn't it, Charlotte?
Yeah, will it be in Italy next time?
Yeah. France have got the summer, Italy have got the next winter.
I know about the Olympics in Paris for the summer one, but not about Italy. Okay, that's nice.
I know Stockholm wanted it, but
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure, I'm 90% certain that I saw it yesterday that Italy got it.
cool. Yeah, I had.
Either way, it's in Europe. It's so much easier to follow and actually watch live.
Yeah, and it will be on live in the evenings as well. Because the thing is, for us now, I think both me and you at least, it's that it's on from like the night until like midday
Yeah.
or lunch, something like that. And then we can use what we're watching the reruns during the evening.
Yeah. Yeah, figure skating, I was up at 5 a.m. to watch.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's pretty normal for me anyway. Yeah.
Okay.
Dedication. But yeah. No, I feel like it's been a quite good Olympics. Like Sweden has done quite well. I'm surprised. Not in all events. Some are really disappointing, but we did do quite well at the start at least. So I'm happy about that. But yeah, I'm starting to have like a life crisis regarding what I'm gonna do once this Olympics is over, because the next one is not until like 2.5 years for the summer one to be in 2024. So I'm like, well, I don't have another OlympicsAthon Readathon until then.
We can do one in preparation for next year.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, I need to think of something.
Commonwealth Games.
Which one?
Oh, wait, no, I don't know. Sweden's in that. Commonwealth Games. We've got that next year, I think.
Oh, yeah, no. I've never heard about it.
The big one in England.
Any team. You could join any team from the countries that are in. And
yeah,
it's
true. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have to see. I need to think of something, because I was just lucky that it was only half a year apart between the Summer Olympics and the Winter Olympics. But now it will be quite a long wait until the next one. So we'll see how that goes. We had some more comments as well. Oh yeah, I read this one, but then we had just about read 20 pages. That is good. Kevin is here as well. You're all doing so well. Hi. Hi, Kevin. And how long are we going to be printing today? We started past, so 50 minutes ago, and might go for another, like, I don't know, 1 to 2 hours. We'll see. Not super long, but yeah, for a while. Very vague answer. I'm sorry.
Long enough for me to finish at least 2 books, so that's good. And I think Kirsty is going to move forward quite a bit in the next sprint too. And Charlotte, you're going to fly through that book. I read that when I was like, I don't know, like 13, probably. And I just fly it.
Yeah. It's nice, but I also enjoy actually taking my time with this one. The book is tiny, by the way, like compared to my face. It's smaller than your regular paperback. So it's very like
mass market.
Guess it feels. Sorry.
Market paperback.
What did you say?
The mass market.
It's like more
smaller.
I think it's even smaller than a mass market one. Hold on, I'm gonna grab a mass market one.
She's on it. She's on a mission now.
Definitely.
She took it really seriously to show how small it is. It must be really small.
So this is Kite Runner, which is like your typical mass market one. And this is...
Oh, wow.
So it's a taller, like half a centimeter taller.
Yeah, but because it's thinner, it looks much smaller.
Yeah, like it's just a very odd size, which I found quite funny when because I ordered it online as well, and then it showed up and like, huh? Is that it? Is that all?
Is that my mini book?
Basically, I have 2 mini books now. I have another one that I also read for this readathon that is also like a hardback, but in this size, which is also super weird.
What?
Yeah,
that's strange.
But it's cute.
It is cute. Yeah, for sure.
Did you say which prompts you are reading your books for? What they would count towards in the readathon?
I didn't. I think
I
Anna
didn't
did,
either.
though.
Yeah, translated, I think Anna said, right?
I only mentioned the translated, but I didn't mention the prompt because it's translated, but it's, yeah. So we didn't. No. I'm looking for, okay. Now, I'm in the middle. That one I'm not reading at the moment, but I'm in the middle of Smila's Sense of Snow by Peter Hug for Denmark. And that's obviously country prompt. Then I am reading this one for Africa because it's about Egypt.
Yeah.
And I and also translated. I am reading. Um, wait, no, Heartstopper for prompt.
Hmm?
It's the moon for the host. Uh, I think that's it for today.
A lot of things to get through. What's yours for?
So this one is the continents challenge, but it's just for Oceania. This is also one of my Sims Readathon reads as well. So I'm sort of doing 2 Readathons in one with this one. And then if I get onto it today, I probably won't. But with A Heart So Fierce and Broken, that's my disability rep because the main character has cystic fibrosis.
Oh yeah, true, yeah.
So,
Awesome. But is it that Nalini Singh is from perhaps Australia?
yeah, she's New Zealand.
Oh, New Zealand, okay.
Yeah, so this book's also set in Russia, so I guess technically I could tick it off as, but I'm not going to, but it could be Europe and Oceania, but I've already got a Europe book that I've already done, so.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Okay, good on you for managing, like both of you, for managing to find multiple prompts for the same book and also mixing and matching between readathons. Yeah, I'm currently working on my TBR for March.
I've been doing that too. I read the winter.
Which one do you read?
Yay. No, I was going to say that I read The Winter of the Witch for winter and for metal, and the Wander Around the World in 80 Days for translated, and for and so I think we, the people who participate in more than one readathon at a time, become kind of experts at crossing books over readathons.
Yeah, definitely.
And
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like for March, I plan on participating in 3 readathons, which is like all of them are month long as well. And I'm super excited about all of them. I really want to do my best, but I've been racking my brain in order to make this work because I want to set myself up for success and actually manage to do all of the readathons. But it's gonna be tricky.
I'm in the same boat. Like normally for the last like 4 rounds, I've done the Tropical Readathon. It's been like 2 years that I've done it. This is the first time that I'm like, because I've got my TBR game that I do every month.
Yeah.
I really want to do, because I know it's Kevin's first time running his
Yeah.
readathon, so I really want to do that one, help support that.
Mhm.
But then there's also like, you know, the Tropical Readathon is always a monster. There's like 13 or 14 prompts.
I think it's like
so I was like, right, okay. Yeah, so I just went this round. As sad as I am, I'm going to wait, and because it used to only be once a year, and now it's twice.
Yeah.
So I'll go back to when it was in August, and I'll do the August round because it'll be summer holidays as well, so I'll have more time.
Nice.
So I'm just going to do my TBR game and Kevin's next month.
Good on you. Good on you.
I'm also in your team, Charlotte, I think. Team Car.
Team Car.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm on your team.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I just filmed my TBR for the Globetrotter-a-thon, Kevin's Readathon actually, which is super exciting. But like Tropical Readathon is one of my absolute favorites. And I've also done the like last 3 rounds, I think of it. It's one of the first proper readathons I participated in, I guess, like, or properly wanted to challenge myself with. So it's sort of, I guess, sentimental in a way too for me, because it's one of the first ones I was very active in. And the first time I planned like a TBR and stuff. So yeah, I'm excited too. This will be the 4th round, and I've been in different teams for each one, which is also a lot of fun and something I might try and keep up with until I've done all the teams, and then I'll restart.
I think my first like sort of readathon that I really got into was Book Roast, when she did the owls and the newts.
Yeah.
But then obviously there was all the J.K. Rowling stuff, and what she's done is she's now created a new one, and it's incredible, like the world building, and she's created like her own magical academy and her own world, and it's so like, it got me really excited. So she was the first one, but then Tropical Reads, I think, was like the second ever one that I took part in, like back in 2019.
Yeah.
What team are
you, Anna?
In Aurelium? House of the Arcane.
I can't remember off the top of my head what house I ended up in, but it was the one that's to do with like nature and.
Anna, what's your first readathon memory? Do you have one?
Yeah, it was Readathon. Readathon is a readathon based on filling your TBR, and this one was by the end of the year. It was the last one of the year, and it was like read all books you can from your TBR, and I really really loved it because it was read books in like at the end of December, like one book day, the last day of December. It was amazing. I've never read that much ever. So it was really nice. And then Readathon, and then the second one was Aurelium. Well, the original Magical Readathon.
Yeah.
And then I became addicted.
Yeah.
It's all Book Roast's fault.
Yeah. I also think I participated in 2 readathons before I even started my channel. And those were, I think, the Newts and Owls one, and also Ashley from A Frolic Through Fiction. She had like Make Your Myth Taker, where you did a path, and you could, like, I chose to be a pirate, and you had to read 4 books. So I did those 2 at the start of 2020 before I even started my channel. But then I started my channel in July, and in August I participated in Tropical Readathon and also the Disney Readathon. So those are like the ones when I actually understood what a readathon was, because I still didn't really, it didn't make sense when I participated in the previous ones. I just know like, oh, reading challenges, let's go.
Yeah.
By the way, one of the creators of Readathon is here. She's Mom's Book.
Ooh.
Readathon, so is the first. Yeah.
Nice. Cool.
She became my very best friends. So it's a good story, like starting with that, with readathons, and then getting friends like this.
That's sweet. I'm thinking, should we go for another sprint?
Yep.
Let's do another 30-minute one. And to everyone that's watching, please share, if you'd like, your first readathon memory or the first readathon you participated in. We would love to hear about it. It's so much fun. So please, during these sprints, write a comment with either your first readathon memory, or perhaps your favorite readathon, or the first one you participated in. And and then once we're back, we'll read through the replies, basically. But now I'm gonna start the timer again.
Cannot wait to finish my 10 pages.
You'll make it. I believe in you. Okay. Happy reading, everyone.
Happy reading.
Happy reading.
And we're back. How did everyone do this time?
I'm really
Anna, do you want to
happy.
go?
I Heartstopper too,
Mm-hmm.
and missing 24 pages from this book that I was missing 52 before. So I'm really, really happy. Next sprint, I'll finish another book.
Amazing! Have fun!
Yeah, it's great. I'm
Do you
loving
know what
this.
you're gonna rate? Do you know what you're gonna rate Heartstopper?
I did 5 stars.
Have fun! That is great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Kirsty.
I got 36 pages that time, and
Amazing.
it got to a bit that I really liked, so I did quite a lot of annotating on that one, so probably would have done a little bit more, but yeah, 36, which I'm happy with.
Cool. Yeah, I saw you write a bit now.
That's right.
It got to one of my favourite scenes, and it was just so cute, I had to make a little note.
Are you enjoying the process of highlighting and annotating it?
Yeah, once I got over that fear of, oh my God, I'm desecrating my book.
Yeah.
Once I got over that fear, it's like, I'm actually really enjoying it now. And I like the thought of, like, my friend's been borrowing my books as, like, when I finish them, I loan them.
Yeah.
And I was saying to them, like, you know, I'm going to be writing in the book now. What do you think? And she was like, I think it's really cool. And it'd be really interesting to get, when I'm reading, when she's reading, to get my insights.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, it's actually a project that I'd love to do for my channel at some point. Just get like a group of friends and we each send each other a book that we love. And then as you read it, you make notes in it and then send it to the next person. And eventually you'll get it back and it'll have like 4 people's notes and annotations in. I think that's just a really cool idea.
That's a really great idea, actually. I love that. Yeah. I also feel like, because last year is also, I did an experiment. I made it into a video where I challenged myself to write in my books. And I'm convinced that once you just do it once, you get completely over that fear of ruining your book. Because now, all the time,
I
basically, I'm
cannot.
having my books, but I'm also highlighting it like a lot.
Yeah.
And it's because of that one video, I think, where I actually challenged myself. So I'm going to write in my book and I'm going to try not to care. And now I write in them all the time, or whenever I feel like annotating. And I don't really feel that weird about it. I also love cracking the backs. So I finally got to
I'm not a fan of cracking spines. If it happens, it happens, but I won't deliberately do it. But no, I think for me, if I annotate, it'll have to be a book that I know I'm going to enjoy. Like if I'm not sure, if I'm going to unhaul it and sell it on, I don't want it to be. But like with Nalini, I know I'm going to enjoy it. Exactly. And there's like a few others that I know I'm going to enjoy. Or like when I next read Frederick Backman, I now want to get a copy of Anxious People and read it again.
Yes.
To highlight it.
This is what I did. I first read it as an ebook, and I was like, damn, I want to own it. Yeah. So after that, I actually bought Anxious People again, so that I can really read it.
I'm planning to get as many of Backman books as I can, because I really, really love. I listened to Anxious People. That was the first one. I was like, oh, I need this. And then I heard about his other books, and I was like, no, I need all his books. Like, I need them, and I need them in physical copies so I can tap them.
Yes.
And I love Backman. He's amazing.
Cool. This makes me so happy. My mission in life.
You're a Frederick. Yeah, Charlotte's a Backman stan. I'm a Nalini stan. Yeah. So we've both gone on missions to like persuade people to read our favorite author. Exactly. And it seems to be working.
I recommend it to everyone. It was G from Book Rose.
Oh yeah, she loves
and
those
I heard for the first time. And then I heard Charlotte, and I was like, okay, there has to be something with this author. So that's why I searched for one of the books on the screen, listened to it, and I was like, no, I need this.
But that's what surprised me so much, because I never read Swedish authors. I have the worst experience with that because I had to read them in school, but you only read like the old books, and like I did not vibe with that at all. So I was so surprised when I actually really enjoyed a book by a Swedish author. Like, what's going on? And then I read more of it. Like, how can I've vowed that I'll basically never read Swedish books, and now my favorite author is turning out to be a Swedish author. What's going on? That's just tripping me out. But I think it's so hilarious also. But yeah. But just regarding the backtracking of books, it was like this at first. This is not comfortable to read. Like my hand was hurting. So I just had to do it in order to be able to fully enjoy the reading experience. I just need to defend myself, because people that read like this and have to like turn, no, I want to be able to hold it and just instead of having to flip it to be able to read.
Yeah, because it looks like it's quite a stiff, whereas like this one's a real like floppy.
With those you don't need to. With this one,
I'm barely doing anything, and it's just like,
yeah,
got it, it's fine. But yeah, like when it's a really stiff paperback, it's like, you have to crack it.
Yeah. I'm gonna catch up on how much people have read, and then we'll also look through the replies regarding readathons. So I'm gonna go backwards in the comments, which might be a bit weird, but yeah. Read 8 pages of After, finishing it 4 stars, and 8 pages of Forever Theirs by Anna Stone. Amazing job! Great on you for finishing a book. 16 pages, not only like 16 pages is good. More of a jog than a sprint.
Yeah,
completely fine. Do it at your own pace.
Progress is progress.
Exactly. Finish editing my video, so I will now be picking up one by one for the winter prompt. Fun, exciting, a thriller. 22 pages, 24 pages, really well done. Reading Ground Zero by Alan Gratz. Interesting. Just got there.
I think it's a thriller. Please confirm or deny.
Oh, it sounds like it could be a thriller. A thriller-esque name.
I think I've read one thriller in my life, so I wouldn't have a clue.
Wow.
Not my genre.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
thriller, horror, mystery, crime. They're not my things at all.
I want to explore that more though.
The what? Sorry?
Thrillers. I need to explore that more, because I haven't really found what types of thrillers I enjoy, but I'm certain that I will enjoy them. I just need to explore a bit more. Yeah. Let's see, we got
my library.
Yeah.
My TBR shelf kind of goes like fantasy, sci-fi, contemporary, everything else.
Completely fine. Jem is loving the Olympics. Some of the medalists are so young. Yes, they are. That's insane. And you're right. The next Olympics are in Cortina and Milan, Italy. Cool. Here we have some Readathon memories. My first Readathon was also Magical Readathon in 2020 and Make a Mistaker. Hey, we participated in the same ones then. Wow, how cool. My first Readathon was after I started my channel last year. I did G from Book Roast's Magical Readathon. So much fun. I'm in House of the Arcane.
Hey, you're in mine.
I actually don't remember what I picked for this one, because I tried to low-key participate, but I think it was when I got really busy and I couldn't really focus on a readathon, so I have no clue what I did. I don't remember.
I've forgotten, so
yeah.
But there on the Discord you can find all the questions and the possible answers. You can do it again.
True. First readathon I took part in was a 24-hour Rory Gilmore one. That's fun.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. And a 24-hour one. Hi everyone, I just need to review a material for tomorrow's meeting. I will join to continue reading my last book. Thank you for doing this reading sprint. No worries, I'm glad you're here. Thanks for joining. And then this is my first readathon and my first sprint. Well, I'm honored to be your first then, I guess. We're honored. Thank you for joining. I have a question about the readathon. Do we send a different form per prompt? Preferably, yeah. I think that's the easiest way to do it. So once you have finished a book for like the main prompts, just do it one at a time. I think it's perhaps only possible to do it one at a time, actually. But then for the books that for the prompts that require 5 books, so the continents one and the translated one, do it all at once, which means that only enter that prompt in the form once you've actually read 5 books. If you haven't done it that way, it's fine. I'm keeping track of the form and all of that, so it's fine. But the easiest is just to check 5 translated books, and then in the comment row write all of the books at once. That's the
I
easiest
was
way to do it, I guess.
surprised. I was surprised when I saw there were 5 translated in the starter graph, and I was like, wait, 5? Isn't that a translated book? Oopsie.
Yeah.
I was lost.
But it's fun. Many have completed it as well, which is really impressive. And it's also it differs how difficult it is depending on where you live and what languages you speak and all of that, of course. So I could have read all of my books in Swedish if I wanted to, but I prefer, if I'm able to read in the original language. That's just how I like to do it.
Yeah, same thing. For me.
I just read a lot of manga. That's how I get my translated. Just read manga.
That's really good, actually.
That's perfect. Yeah. I don't get
I'm curious.
enough manga around here.
Yeah. What languages do both of you know or use or talk? I'm guessing that Anna, perhaps you know a lot of different languages. I'm just getting a vibe.
How?
I don't know. You said I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I do much Latin, which I know people don't speak, but helps a lot learning other languages. Because in the secondary school, I did 3 years of Latin, and I had to translate Julius Caesar and stuff, which is hard. But yeah, Latin, and then Spanish, English, French, German, Italian, Portuguese, and I don't know what I'm forgetting.
That's insane. Very impressive.
Italian, Portuguese, and Latin. No, that's it. 7.
Whoa, that's good.
My father spoke 10, but I was a baby, so that's why I don't speak like 12 already.
Yeah.
So it's genetic.
Yeah, true.
And my father was Danish.
But isn't it confusing? Don't you perhaps? I know the languages are still different, but isn't there a risk of mixing up like Spanish with Portuguese with some others?
Depends, but to me, I only mix at times Italian and Portuguese.
Makes sense.
Like I say a word in the other language, and I'm like, "What am I? No, that's Portuguese. Wait, or that's Italian." But for the rest, not at all. Because somehow in my head, bless you.
Thank you.
Somehow in my head, they are separated in different. Or I don't know why I feel like they're in different boxes. Except Italian and Portuguese that are actually more similar than any others.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So probably, I don't know, but in my head they're in the same compartment, and I get to mix them. But for the rest, no, not at all. No. And English I learned when I was very little. I was like 4 years old. So English is to me like Spanish. It's like they're on the same side, but they're different. And then German was a lot later than English, so I think that I'm not mixing, because semantically they're similar. Like you have can, man.
True.
But yeah, it's my father.
Cool. What about you, Kirsti?
I studied French at school, and I did it for like my GCSE, so until I was 16. And then I thought I'd forgotten all of it until when I was substituting last year, I ended up taking on a French class and was like, oh, I remember way more than I thought I did. But I'm currently learning German because it's I've got like 3 different pathways that I'm going to choose between at the end of this year. One is to apply to the Japanese teaching program. One is to move to Germany, and then the other one is Edinburgh. So I'm just sort of, I've always wanted to learn German. My sister's fluent in it. So
how cool.
And I've been to Germany like 3 times, and I have plans to maybe go and spend Christmas in Germany. So yeah, I thought it'll be nice to just try and get my language up. And every time that I've gone, it's like I try to make an effort to use it as much as possible. And the last time I went, it was really funny because my best friend was like, how do I order a hot chocolate? So I told him how to do it, and then he went up to the till, and just it was hilarious. First of all, he kept going bonjour to everyone, and we were like, oh my God. but I just noticed I tend to pick it up really quickly. Like other languages I struggle with, but for some reason German, I just seem to naturally pick it up really quick.
That's good.
So Swedish is another one that I'd like to learn, but
you have the same origin language anyway with German, English and German. So it's relatively, yeah. But where do you like in Germany the most?
Of the places that I visited, Cologne was my favorite.
Oh, love it. Yeah, I have family there.
I'm hoping to go this year in August for Gamescom because it was incredible, and it's just, so good.
Ooh,
but I also have plans to go to Sweden and Netherlands and stuff this year. I just want to travel.
Yeah, but that's good. That's good.
Yeah. Do all the things that I put off.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
What about you, Charlotte? What do you speak?
Yeah. Well, Swedish and English. But then on my mother's side, my family is from Czech Republic. So, but the thing is, I was never really schooled in Czech, or I have never really learned it. So I can understand it, but I can't really speak it that well, and I can't really contribute to any conversation, which is unfortunate. But like when I am visiting my family there, of course, like there's a lot of gestures, and I know my grammar is completely off, but I can understand them, and they can try and make sense of what I'm trying to say. So those. Then I also took Spanish in school because it's kind of mandatory to pick a third language. So I took Spanish for like 4 years, although I feel like I've forgotten most of it. And I also took like
we can practice.
Sorry?
We can practice whenever you want.
Oh. Scary. And then I took like a beginner's course in Mandarin, actually, when I started university, because I've always wanted to give it a go, and they offered Mandarin courses at my university. So I was like, hey, might as well take an evening course in Mandarin for a semester and see how I like that. Once again, forgotten most of it. Also, it's really difficult, but I enjoyed it a lot. And then I know some Korean because in high school I had my friends were really into Korean culture and K-pop and all of that, and they sort of dragged me into it, and I started to watch a lot of K-dramas. So just like certain phrases and sentences just get stuck in your head if you watch a lot of TV. But then I actually also studied abroad in Korea for half a year. While I was there, I took a Korean course, like also beginner's course, just because I wanted to make sure I could order food and also tell the taxi which direction to go. So yeah, some of that is stuck. But so like bits and pieces here and there, but my main languages are Swedish, English, and I guess Czech.
Yeah. I admire people who speak Asian languages because I find them, as they're so different to ours, I find them really hard. I love Japanese though. I hear Japanese and I really love it. Really, really want to learn. But Chinese and Korean, I find so hard. So hard.
I feel like it's the opposite. I don't know. Japanese scares me for some reason. Like Chinese is nice. Yeah, they have a different way of writing, but they have no grammar from what I understand. So it's the same word. If you're saying like the book, the books, that book, their book, your book, like it's the same word basically. And I think it's also the grammar in Korean was quite easy in many ways compared to like Swedish grammar is just completely off because it's a lot of like irregular stuff. Also, that was the most annoying thing with Spanish. All of the irregular ways of doing the verb.
Italian
Hated
is
that.
worse. Italian
Yeah.
is worse. There's a lot more irregularity and exceptions in Italian than in Spanish. It's hard for me that I'm a Spanish speaker, so yeah.
All the exceptions. No.
I know.
I forgot. I was learning Japanese at one point.
Yeah.
And when I was a teenager, because I was the opposite of Charlotte, you were Korean, whereas me and my friends, we were, I think maybe it was generational because we were like sort of 7 years ahead of you or something.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was at high school, everything was Japanese and all the nerds were into Japanese stuff. By the time I was at uni, all the high school kids were into Korea. So it kind of did a bit of a shift.
Korea boo and boo, I guess.
Yeah. But when I was learning Japanese, the thing that frustrated me the most, you've got like the word hello, and there's like 20 different ways that you have to say it, depending on who you're speaking to. So if you're talking to a friend, it's like konnichiwa or like Ohio. But then if you're talking to a businessman, it's Ohayo gozaimasu.
Yeah.
And then if you're talking to somebody else, it's konbanwa. And it's just so many different ways for one word, but you have to make sure you get the right word, because if you get the wrong word, they will tell you and they'll be like, no, that's not the right way to greet me. It's like, there's 30 ways to greet you. And that frustrated me because there's different honorifics depending on their title and their status. And it's like, oh my.
Yeah, it's also like in Czech, because I think Czech is really difficult as well. I took an evening course like 2 years ago now because I wanted to try and catch up. But they also have like 7 different ways of saying the same word, depending on like what the sentence looks like or who you're communicating with. Not necessarily honorifics and polite language, but just like if you're shouting it, or if you're just telling someone, or if you're asking something, like those differences in the sentence, they have 7 different ways of switching up the, what's it called? But yeah, the word itself. And I just kept messing them up all the time. I find that to be so confusing.
Sounds confusing.
It is. Languages are difficult, but it's fun once you know them. It's so impressive once you actually know a language well.
I'm hoping to do sign language at some point as well. I want to learn BSL.
So impressive. I struggle to learn language. And even after reaching A level, it's so hard to keep it. I lost all of my 7 years of German, and even my Chinese is decreasing. Yeah, it's difficult to keep up with a language. I feel like you need to use it almost every day to remember, actually.
Yeah, but when
if anyone's wondering about
try again.
It was just, if anyone's wondering what A level is, it's basically the exams that we do in England after, right, up to 16 you do your GCSEs, and then 17 to 18, well, 16 to 18 you do A level, and it's your A levels that determine the grades that get you into university.
Oh wow, true.
It's just I know sometimes people see GCSE A level and they're like, what the hell does that mean?
We have an equivalent in Spain. Yeah, we have an equivalent to those exams in Spain. That the transition would be like 70, as in the selection process and it also determines which degree you could get into at the university.
Cool. Here we have another one. I'm from Germany, and I can only imagine how hard learning German is. Really impressive.
Yeah, I'm still at basic stage at the moment, so I'm still sort of at the like, hello, how are you stage, like, but I'm hoping to get to conversational level. My hope is by the end of this year to be able to buy a book, like I'm thinking Dark Shades of Magic, because I love that book.
Yeah,
I know the world and the characters, so I'm thinking of trying to buy that in German and just seeing if I can follow it at all. Like, that's kind of my loose goal.
Have you read Inkheart? Have you read Inkheart by Cornelia Funke?
I have not.
Okay, that one's
I tried, but I DNF'd it.
Oh.
Which one?
Yeah, I tried it years ago, but I didn't enjoy it.
Okay.
Nice.
No, I was
Witcher.
suggesting just because Cornelia Funke is German, so is
Mm.
originally written in German. Maybe you would be
Mm. But yeah, what you're trying to do or want to do with the German book, I have the same approach. Like I asked not the latest Christmas, but the year before that, I asked for Twilight, the Czech translation of it, because Twilight is a book I read multiple times, both in Swedish and in English. So I feel like I would be comfortable with trying to read that in Czech. It might take me months to get through it. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But similar approach, because that's how I learned English. I started to read books in English that I had already read in Swedish, and yeah. Would love to learn more Korean. My only knowledge are from K-drama and K-pop. I did an internship in Korea, in Ulsan, without knowing a word of Korean and without internet on my phone. That's difficult.
Wow.
yeah.
It can be a bit
Kudos to
tricky.
you.
Yeah. But in my experience, at least in Korea, everyone, even if they understood that, or if they got that you perhaps didn't really understand them, even though the people there, the locals, perhaps didn't know English, they tried really hard to help you and to try and make you understand them. So there was actually quite a funny story when me and my friend was traveling there on a vacation, and we wanted to go on a bus that would take us out of the city. And when we went onto the bus driver freaked out because he was like, no, we're heading out of the city. These are tourists. They probably want to stay in the city. But we wanted to go to like a national park or something like that. So he was freaking out, and he tried like, no. And we tried to explain like, no, we want to go to this place. We want to go here. And we were the only ones on the bus as well. And he, even while he was driving, he called a friend he thought knew English and gave us the phone. And that person did not know English at all. But like we were like, oh, we want to go to this place. We want to go here. And it took a lot of back and forth for probably like 10, 15 minutes until I was like, okay, you can sit down. I'll tell you when we're there, basically. But I just really appreciated how hard he tried to help us out, even though there were some struggles with the communication. And yeah, so I think that's what's important mainly.
Yeah.
That
a lot of countries. I think a lot of countries, as long as they can see that you've not just come in with, the ignorant, like I'm British, I will say we are an ignorant country, especially when visiting abroad. But I think like as long as you at least attempt to learn basic phrases, even if it's just hello, how are you? Can I have? How much is this? I think as long as they can see that you're trying, there'll be a lot more receptive of that and be more willing to work with you, because they're like, hey, at least this person has given it a go. And we'll now, I had it in France where I was really struggling with something, and I was only about 7 or 8, and my mum had said, this is how you say it, and I was really struggling, and the lady was just like, I'll put you out of your misery, I speak English. Thank you.
You tried at least. Yeah. I had a friend, his goal when he went to a new country was to learn, or somewhere with a new language, he wanted to learn the phrase, I don't know this language. So that when anyone went up to him and started to speak, he could say, no, sorry, I don't speak this language in that language, which is a bit contradicting, but funny.
I've learned to say, like most languages, I generally say, instead of I don't know this language, I say I only know a little.
Yeah.
Because then it kind of lets them know that, you know a tiny bit. When I was in Iceland, I kept having people, because this is hair dye, my normal hair is a lot lighter blonde. And when I was in Iceland, I kept getting the locals come up to me and just, chatting to me. And I'm like, And this one guy, 3 times I went into his shop, and 3 times he forgot that I wasn't Icelandic, and he was like, you should be. I'm sorry.
And I've heard the language is hard. in Iceland.
Yeah, I didn't even try to learn. I knew hello, and that was it.
Mm.
Yeah, but it's
Where
really, really
Sophie
hard.
wrote, I studied German at university. Dutch is my
That's
mother
so
tongue, and I
good.
would say I am pretty fluent in English and German. I also learned French at school, but can't speak it that well. That's amazing still. Like Dutch, German, English,
Yeah,
and French. Very
that's a lot.
impressive.
Yeah.
Cool. Shall we go for another sprint?
Yeah.
I will probably have to go because in half an hour so it's 25 minutes for me that I'm
Hmm. Okay.
so
Yeah, that's
if you're
completely
going to
fine.
yeah, but I'm going to try to finish this even if I'm on the live before I get busy. In 25 minutes I'll get busy, but I don't want to, interrupt the
Yeah.
and say, hey, I'm
Yeah.
going. So yeah, rather leave this and just chat until I get busy. Thank you so very much for having me, Charlotte. It was fun.
Thank you for
I
joining
hope
me.
you I hope you end up reading a lot, like everyone. Uh, and well, I'm really really glad I could participate in the OlympicsAthon again. And I'll chat to you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining. It was very lovely. And thanks for participating once again in OlympicsAthon. And everyone, Anna's link is in the description. So check her out. She reads like crazy. And always have like massive TBRs from what I remember.
That's true. That's true. A massive amount of reading.
Yeah,
Talk to you
chaotic
soon.
is the word. See you soon. Talk to you at some point.
Bye.
And we'll head
Before we
into
start the sprint, there's a
yeah.
comment that makes me smile. Estelle saying, I understand you because I'm Asian and look like a Korean, so everyone speaks Korean to me. I think
Yeah.
that was in link to what I was saying about when I was in Iceland.
Yeah.
Like,
It's difficult for some people. I also have a story of my friend. She had a friend visiting from England and they were in Sweden. And so of course they spoke English to each other. And like they went into a store while speaking English and the clerk or the one at the shop started speaking to them in English and she was so uncomfortable to switch language. So she has continued to speak in English because she much rather prefer that than like be uncomfortable and go to Swedish and be like, no, I'm actually Swedish, but okay. Yeah. Okay, sprint. Cool.
yes.
Um, awesome. Are we ready?
Yes.
Yeah, let's go. 30 minutes.
Happy reading, everyone.
Happy reading. back. How did everyone do this time? Please let us know.
I've improved with each sprint.
Oh, nice.
First one was 26, no, 25, then 36, then that one I did bang on 50.
Amazing. 50 in 30 minutes.
Yeah, I can, like, I have this weird thing that I can do when I read where it's like, I can't explain it, but I can kind of like super speed read. But it's kind of like, instead of reading a line at a time, it's like my brain takes in 3 or 4 sentences at a time.
Yeah.
But I can only do it when I'm awake. Like if I'm tired, that's when dyslexia kicks in and I can't even read a sentence without it going all fuzzy.
Makes sense.
But yeah, it's just a weird thing that I've always been able to do. Plus it's like, it helps that it's an author that I've read and it's a book that I've read before, so I can go into like super speed read and I don't need to read every word.
True. That's amazing. Cool.
How do you get on?
I did quite well. I think I got 38 pages actually. That's really good. Yeah. But once again, they are so small. And there's also illustrations in it, which is really cool.
Yeah. What's The Alchemist actually about? It's not a book that I've heard of, but I know nothing about it.
Yeah, it's about this, I guess, this shepherd boy in Spain. And he has a dream that he's supposed to find a treasure by the pyramids in Egypt. So it's just a really wonderful story about following your dream. So he has he meets people along his journey that sort of motivates him to continue to follow his dream. And sometimes he thinks like, oh no, perhaps I should go back. I know, like, I enjoyed being a shepherd. I knew what I was doing. And there was actually a quote I really enjoyed, because there's a part when he's on his journey, but he needs to save up some money.
Yeah.
So he says that because when he has to make the stop in order to earn the money, and he's like, well, should I go back and like buy new sheep, or should I continue on this journey that is still so much further ahead than if I were to just go back? And he says something along the lines that there was another way to regard his situation. He was actually 2 hours closer to his treasure. The fact that the 2 hours had stretched into an entire year didn't matter. And I really like that. I even like put exclamation points at it.
That actually, you saying that and that quote kind of reflects my situation where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Where I'm at that state. Obviously, the situation that led to this wasn't ideal.
Yeah.
But the fact is, I'm at that point now where, you know, I'm back where I was and I'm now looking forward to the future. And I'm at that point where I now need to stop to save to go and do what I want. And part of me is like, well, it'll be so easy to just go back and do that.
Exactly.
But then it's like, but do I really want to go back and do that when there's all this exciting and all these dreams that I've never done? So that's actually a read, but maybe I need to read that.
Yeah, but I kind of feel, now that I'm reading it and getting more into it as well, that I feel like this is a book that you can definitely pick up multiple times throughout your life, and perhaps it will help and guide you in any sort of way, depending on what you need as well. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I think it's really wonderful, actually. And I'm personally is also a really big fan of traveling, and I tend to feel a bit lost at times because you have one idea of what you want to do, and then things turns out differently, and you kind of have to readjust to that. And sometimes I feel like, well, am I giving up on my dreams now? Like, I've always said that I wanted to work and live abroad for a longer period of time than just half a year, but like, I bought an apartment, so I'm obviously settling in Sweden, but that does not necessarily mean that I cannot still live and work abroad in the future, perhaps. Like, those events they do not need to correlate really. So I really appreciate this one. I think it's nice.
Hey, well, when I've got a place, we can just do a house swap for a year or so. You come and work in England, I'll go to Sweden, because that's one of my dreams as well. Is like one of the reasons I'm looking at like Japan, Korea, Germany is I've always wanted to experience life.
Yeah.
Like whenever I go on holiday, you know, all my friends, and when I was with my then fiance, he wanted to do all like the touristy things in certain shops, whereas I just wanted to go to the local cafe and chat to like the elderly couple sitting next to me and just, you know, immerse in the life. I've always been more into that. So I feel like even I might end up hating it, but I want to at least experience living in another country at least once.
Yeah, no, exactly. And as I said, I studied abroad half a year. Before that, I lived abroad for 3 months in Kent, actually, in Canterbury.
That's where I went to uni.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I lived there for 6 years. I went to Christchurch.
Oh wow, okay, yeah, because my high school had like an exchange with Canterbury University, so we took basically the courses we would have taken in Sweden, but in Canterbury instead. That's cool. But yeah, so, and I feel like once you live abroad for a longer time, you can sort of develop your own routine and have like an everyday life and have your local places that you always go to, and that's what I really appreciate. I love touristy things. Like every time I go to Prague in Czech, even though I've been there multiple times now, I always want to do the touristy things because I just really appreciate that. And like, yeah, some things are very touristy, but also like things are famous for a reason. I do love touristy things, but I also love having a routine and be able to like walk somewhere and feel very comfortable with it. And like, yeah, I know this restaurant. I've been here multiple times. And yeah, I always do this on Sundays and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's like when I went to Cologne, I was only there for a week, but basically how we did it is we went to the gaming convention, Gamescom. My friend went to Gamescom all 5 days or 6 days, whereas I only went for 1 day, and then I spent the next few. I just got to know the city, and it was nice on the last day when we were together because it was like I'd grown comfortable by that point. Like I knew some of the sites. I'd started to navigate some of the side streets, and I'd found a couple of really quirky places that weren't like in the guidebooks. And it was really nice because on the last day when we were walking through, I was like, oh yeah, we can go to this place. It's really cool. And he was like, okay. And he was saying that it was a really nice experience having someone who'd already been in the area and knew the area. And I was like, I've only been here once, but I just felt like I settled in really, really quickly. And both times I've been to Germany, I had that feeling of I feel settled here.
Yeah.
But I felt the same when I was in Reykjavik. I was settled in so quickly. I'm just someone who just moves somewhere and just goes, boom, I'm home now.
That's amazing, though. I feel like that's a great quality to have, actually.
It makes it hard, though, because with that resilience and with that kind of adaptability also comes suppression. And like sometimes I don't take the time to stop and reflect on things before I'm like, bye, off to the next thing.
Yeah, true.
I'm interested, though, in the comments, like for like anyone that's watching, like what's the most interesting place you've been, or where do you want to go the most? Like, are there any countries you want to go and live in, or have you lived in? Let us know.
Yeah, please share that.
Yeah, please join in.
Yeah. Hugo is here.
Hey, Hugo.
Read 20 pages. Amazing. 0 pages. I just came back from making food. Well, food is great. So, good job. Hey, it's Anna. I'm waiting for a meeting at work, but just wanted to let you know I just finished Akhenaton. I can pronounce that. 2 books down today. Incredible. Yes, hi Hugo. 28 pages, 26 pages. Y'all are killing it. Hi back. That sounds wonderful. Sounds like something anyone could get something from. I've been wanting to read The Alchemist for a long time. I'm inspired to pick it up now. Do it. I would say it's worth it. It's surprisingly easy to get into. And as I said, this is actually somewhat a reread for me because I listened to the audiobook in November. And I was speeding through it because it was part of a Readathon and I was rushing with the Readathon, so I wanted to speed through the audiobook. So I perhaps did not pay as much attention as I should have to the story. But I knew when I was listening to it, like, this is something special. I should perhaps try and pick this up as a physical copy and reread it in order to get the full experience. So that's what I did, because when I listened to it, I gave it 3 stars. Once again, I enjoyed it, but I was not immersed in it. But this time it will definitely be a higher rating for sure. So that is exciting.
I've just added it to my wish list.
Hey. Cool. Love that. Oh. Yeah, no, but like living abroad, I had a similar sort of feeling when I was in Korea because I had friends, my friends from high school, they went to Korea to study Korean. So I visited them on like a vacation just for 2 weeks. And I felt so comfortable there. So that's when I started thinking like, yeah, perhaps I could study here or live here or something. So that's one of the reasons why I picked that for my exchange, because I already like I kind of knew the culture. I knew I was comfortable. I knew I enjoyed being
Yeah.
there. So it was actually great to be able to go back and actually live and experience the country. Another place I really wanted to try and live in is Singapore. That was actually my first choice for my exchange, but that's a very popular choice. So unfortunately, I did not get that, but instead I got Korea, and Korea ended up being incredible. So no regrets about that at all. I had the best of times and got the most incredible friends there.
It's my only kind of worry about going with, because I'm like, usually people tend to be in their like early 20s when they go and do that. So one of my slight concerns is like, I'm going to go and do a program, get into a school, and it's going to be like everyone's like 20, 21, and then there's me who's like nearly like 31, nearly 32, being like, oh god, they're children. Like I usually tend to get on because emotionally I don't feel like I'm in my 30s. I still feel like I'm sort of in my 20s. But it's just sort of like, you know, okay, where are the grown-ups now? Anyone?
I get what you mean. Yeah, I think that differs a lot depending on like, I guess, the country and how education is there. Like I'm not sure how to explain it, but for example in Sweden,
Oh no, I get it.
It's quite common that because for us university does not cost a thing, it's free for us to continue to study, and because of that many actually take a few gap years before they continue after high school. So actually, at least at my university and where I've studied, there are definitely people that are older that are studying and doing the entire university experience and going abroad and stuff like that. While in Korea, for example, since I also believe that they start school 1 year earlier, I did that too. But still, I think they start school a year earlier, and there's a different sort of pressure to go to uni that we don't have in Sweden. Over there, my classmates were definitely younger. They were my age because I went to university straight out of high school, and I'm also a year younger than everyone. So we were the same age, but I know in Sweden, many of my friends are actually older than me because they took 1 or 2 gap years, and then they studied for 2 years, and then they did something else, and then they returned to school. And like, it's a very different thing when education is free.
Yeah, I think working abroad as well tends to be very different. Like Asian countries tend to attract younger, like for, you know, doing like TEFL programs, teaching English programs and things like that tends to be a much younger audience. Whereas countries like sort of Iceland, Sweden, Germany, America tend to be more sort of like in your sort of mid to late 20s, early 30s, because those sort of countries tend to invite a more professional, because by that point, like, they're countries that are more known for that kind of thing. Whereas I think sort of like China, Japan, Korea, like and even Australia to an extent, even though it's not technically in Asia, or it isn't, not in any way, shape or form. I am a geography teacher, honest. But like even Australia tends to be where the younger group go, because it's like hip and it's cool and it's more like seen as fun, I think, and it's that like exciting. Whereas I think countries closer, for me, closer to home, I don't know, it's just what I've picked up on. Like I know a few people that moved to Germany in their 20s, and I think I've got like, there's one person who I know who's out there, and she's like same age as me. So
yeah, no, it's quite common actually for Swedes that take a gap year to actually like work for half a year and then go backpacking in Asia or something like that. That's the typical thing. Or go to Australia and work there for a year. So I get what you mean.
That's what my sister did and then never came back.
Oh. Yeah, I actually last year around summertime I was at a bit of a crossroad because I had been working at the same place for closer to a year, and I was so grateful because I managed to get a job despite the pandemic as a newly graduated nobody, I guess. I was so happy I got a job and I really enjoyed the job. But I was, and this will sound a bit, I don't know, perhaps not so good on my part, but I was a bit overqualified for that job because it did not reflect my degree and what I had studied. And I still really enjoyed the job. I did not mind that job at all, but I wanted to challenge myself a bit more.
Yeah.
And so I tried to apply to multiple jobs for like half a year and nothing really happened. And I was like, oh, what am I gonna do? I can't really stay at this place because sure, it's fine, but it's not what I want to do. I want to get another job, but no one is getting back to me. So I started to make a plan that, well, if I don't have anything going for me by September, I will just say F it and go to Italy for 3 months and see what happens. I have no clue. I want to try and live in Italy. I have the money for it. I'm saving for an apartment. Might as well just buy some tickets instead and stay at an Airbnb. So that's my backup plan in case I would not get a new job or would not know what I was going to do for the rest of the year. I was like, well, perhaps I'll just go abroad then. I don't know. So that's another place I would really love to experience and just try and live in as well. Somewhere in Italy, I think would be nice.
Oh.
Yeah. I think
what's somewhere that can
sure.
I'm a winter baby. I'm a snow baby. So I just want to live somewhere that gets really good winters, like proper winters. Not this like grey shit that we get here. It's like grey and rainy and cold. I want proper winter and proper summer.
Ooh, perhaps Canada?
Yeah, Canada might be a bit extreme. But I did the very first masters I was supposed to be doing. I did get accepted into the University of Regina. Unfortunately, the funding fell through on that project just as we were about to sort visas out. So I nearly ended up in Canada.
Cool.
No, even somewhere like, I know Korea, they get snow and they get cold weather, you know, Iceland, Sweden, all those kind of places, Germany, they get decent weather.
Yeah, true. Multiple seasons.
Yeah, so we've got a few comments popped up.
I will try to reread The Alchemist. I didn't enjoy it as much as I expected in audiobook. I would say give it a new go. I think the audiobook is pretty good. I really liked the narrator actually, but I do think that the book will have a greater impact if you read it in text, perhaps. So give it another go. After working in Korea, I would love to go back, but just for visiting, not really for working. I found the working condition harder than in France. Maybe it will depend on the company or colleague. Yeah, I've heard that as well, that it varies a lot. So yeah, but definitely go back for holiday, I would say. That would be fun. I've never left the States, unfortunately. I have always wanted to visit Finland. I even studied the language for a little while, but it still hasn't happened yet. One day. Cool. What has got you intrigued about Finland? I would love to know that. And how far did you get with the language as well? Because that one is really difficult. I don't understand a thing, like when I hear Finnish at all. It's difficult.
Do you often get though that people assume that because you're Swedish because like Sweden, Norway, Finland are so like close to each other? Do you ever get like people that just assume that you'll understand each other?
Yeah, for Norwegian and Danish, definitely not for Finnish, because I think people know that the languages are very different in that way. But Norwegian and Danish, yes. And the thing is, I struggle so much with like Swedish like even Swedish dialects and accents.
I remember you saying like further south you go, isn't it, that you start struggling because it starts merging with like the Danish and
that's when I'm get so lost in conversations. Like I can still process them, but it takes me a while. So Danish for me is really difficult. I
so
also
you have Viking thank for that.
and like when I remember in one of my classes, we had a student from like this most southern part of Sweden, and we had another student that was from Norway, and the two of them had a conversation, and they understood each other perfectly. Like they could definitely keep up. But I was just there standing like, what the hell are they talking about? My brain worked so hard to keep up with the two of them speaking, and like they had no issue at all. It was just me. Like, what are they saying? Regarding Finland, I have no idea. I think I heard it was the most difficult language to learn and took it as a challenge. Okay. Then I fell in love with learning about the country and watching videos and stuff. That's really cool though. I love that. That's a good way to be introduced to a country and a culture.
Not like me where people are like, oh, what intrigues you about Sweden? I'm like, Vikings. Pretty much that is it. Always been fascinated by them. I'm writing a series of novels set in the period, so I've been doing a lot of research in like old like Viking period, like Sweden, and learning about like Gotland and all of that, and like all the different areas and regions and how they've. So I think then that developed, but before that, I just wanted to go because I knew it was cold and snowy. So I was like, cool, I want to go there. There's mountains, there's snow, there's cold. Sign me up. Yeah.
I love that. You probably know more than me then, because I know nothing about like the Vikings or Swedish history in general. Suck at that. But I feel like that's also quite common, that usually you are quite, I guess, ignorant and also sometimes blind to your own culture and country. You don't know as much as others do.
It's kind of sad really, because the UK, we're so into, it's nice that we've got such a big variety of culture, but also when we start to think about it, it's like, you know, when you think of Sweden, you've got like traditional dress, and there's like, you think of specific things when you think of Sweden. When you think of China, they've got traditional, a very clearly defined culture. When you think of England, we don't really, because we've had like the French, we've had the Danish, we've had the Celts, we've had the Picts. We've never really had the opportunity to develop an identity.
Yeah.
Which is great because it does showcase how diverse the country is and the region is. But at the same time, it's kind of like, unless I'm just being completely ignorant about my own country, but to my knowledge, we don't really have like a traditional dress, and we don't have like, you know, a national like stamp, if you know what I mean. It's really weird, but yeah, I know what you mean, where it's like you kind of, a lot of people are ignorant about their own cultures and countries.
Yeah. And it's just kind of the same way, like if you just think about your hometown or something like that. So since I have family in Czech, when they have come and visited, we have like been touristing in Stockholm and doing things I would never do in Stockholm, because you're typically not a tourist in your own hometown, is basically my point. So it's quite nice actually to have those excuses that you have friends or family visiting from somewhere else, and you get to show them your city and also experience things for the first time yourself, because you've never done those things before, even though it's what you should do.
So Stockholm, where you're based then?
Yeah, born and raised. I've been trying to learn Danish for a while in Duolingo and found the pronunciation so hard. Yeah, no, don't even. I'm not gonna try. Basically, what Swedes say about Danish is that they're speaking Swedish, but as if they have porridge in their throat. That's what we say. It sounds very porridgey. I don't know how to explain it, but that's what we say about Danish.
It's very thick.
Yeah, exactly. It's been a while since I studied it, so I don't remember a whole ton, just some phrases, but when I was learning, I actually caught on very fast. Well, I'm certain that if you pick it up again, you will pick it up really quickly, actually. It's typically that way with languages. When I was a teen, I went multiple times to England. Would love to live there for a while. By the way, I am from Germany. How cool!
Ah, good Abend.
Look at us being I don't know.
Multilingual.
Multilingual. That's the one I was looking for.
Yeah, my sister's the language in our family. Like, she did German and history at uni, but while she was there, she also worked for a company where she then also learnt Spanish. So she worked for another company where she then picked up conversational Dutch. And I think she's self-taught French as well.
Wow.
But her two boys have been raised, they are bilingual. They speak English and German. And she's sort of slowly now, with the 10-year-old, she's starting to put Spanish in there as well. So by the time he's sort of 16, he's going to probably be trilingual.
That's amazing.
I'm just like, I can't even speak English properly.
Basically, yeah. I feel like the more languages I try to learn, the less I know, actually. My English is just getting worse. My Swedish is getting worse. It's not doing good. I was thinking if perhaps we should go for a final sprint, but perhaps a bit of a shorter one, if that's all right.
Yeah, I was about to say, because I'm aware it's you're an hour ahead of me,
Exactly.
so I'm like, yeah, I'm aware it's nearly 11 o'clock there.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that perhaps we'll go for a 20-minute one, and then we will still have some time to wrap up and chat and all of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. So this is gonna be our final sprint, and this one is gonna be for 20 minutes. So yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah, otherwise we are at risk of just talking for the next 3 hours.
I've honestly had the best of times. This is so lovely. Okay, are we ready for our final sprint?
Yes.
Cool. Okay, good luck. Happy reading.
Enjoy. I can't reach.
I did it in the wrong order, so sorry about beeping.
It made me jump a little bit.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, wrong order. I was supposed to stop it and then continue. But yeah. How did everyone do this time? Final sprint.
291.
I think I read almost 24 pages. I'm in the middle of a page. So very pleased with that, actually.
Oh, cool. I only did 18.
How many?
18 on that one, but that's because Kat came and joined me, and then relative came and joined me for a minute. He always comes down to get himself a drink at this time of night, and he has a little chat.
Ah, nice. Nice. Yeah. I actually only have like not even 60 pages left. So I'm not sure if I might aim at finishing it today or not. We're gonna have to see. Possibly. Which is cool.
I've got about 130, so I could probably get it done before midnight if I just sit and read now. I'll probably get it done in the next 45 minutes.
That's incredible in that case. Whoa.
Well, actually no, it'll be about an hour to get that finished.
Cool. Let's see. Sophie read 13 pages, getting tired, so I'm heading to bed soon. Yeah, same. For me, it's 11 o'clock now. So I need to have a shower and head to bed too. 18 pages, got to page 116. That's really good. 20 pages, less than 100 pages left. Amazing. 13, I'm getting close to the end though. Only about 50 pages left. Ooh, will you continue to read it then? Or will you do something else now? It's fun to see this. I feel like people have been killing it today. Reading a bunch, actually. What did you say? You hadn't really kept track of which prompts you had completed and not?
Yeah, and I've just gone onto the Twitter feed because my spreads are all upstairs. Because I've converted my grand's bedroom into an office space now. And I've only just moved all the stuff up there. So ones I've definitely done. I've read a book featuring sports. That was a manga that I ended up, I've DNF'd that series now. I'm reading Our Violent Ends for the book related to a host country. I've read the medal prompt because that was A Heart So Fierce and Broken.
Oh, true, yeah.
I've already forgotten what I've read this month. Oh, I have read a book related to the country you're representing. That was Only a Villain, Only a Monster, which is an arc that I got from NetGalley, and that was set in London to begin with, so that's related.
Okay.
So the only thing that I need to do for the main first 5 prompts is I've got to do winter, which I'm doing the bright and the pale, and then the Paralympics, which I've started with A Heart So Fit, a vow so, what's it called? That one, the final one.
Oh wow!
A vow so bold and deadly.
Cool.
But I've got a feeling though that House of Sky and Breath is going to arrive tomorrow because it got dispatched today.
Oh.
So I may just have to like put everything else down and just binge that.
I've seen everyone hyping that on Twitter today.
Yeah, and I got a notification from Waterstones that it's been paid for and it's been dispatched. So I might get it a couple of days before it's technically published, which is.
Did you enjoy the first book?
Yeah, it was my book of the year last year.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Which I know,
but I haven't gotten to it yet. So
I would recommend listening to the audiobook. It is like 24 hours long, I will pre-warn you. But then again, the book is 800 pages. But I just felt that I've listened to it and I've read it, and the audiobook just gave it something. I don't think I would have been as invested if I hadn't listened to the audio.
That's
But
really cool.
I'm starting to find that though with audiobooks that I'm actually starting to prefer.
Oh,
As long as if it's a good narrator,
yeah.
I'm loving them. Like I started the the Greatcoat series by Sebastian de Castell.
Oh, yeah.
And the narrator on that is so excellent. I forgot it was just one person at points because it sounds like 3 or 4 people talking.
That's
Like
cool.
he is so good. And I'm like, I know for a fact I would not have enjoyed the book anywhere near as much if I hadn't have listened to it.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as you get the right narrators, and I will admit the House of Earth and Blood narrator, she was fantastic.
That's amazing. Cool. Yeah, I also think that the narrator of the book is really important if you're listening to the audiobook. I still somewhat, not that I struggle with audiobooks, but I guess I'm not. I listened to them a bunch last year, especially when I had my previous job. But I don't know, for me, like I think I struggle with fantasies and sci-fi when I listen to audiobooks. I don't know, I feel like because I also prefer to listen to audiobooks at twice speed. But if I'm listening to a fantasy or a sci-fi, I feel like I'm not just, I don't know, I'm not really connecting to the world and the story. I like things don't really stick in the same way. So I usually just listen to contemporaries or like romances or literary thrillers as well. So I'm a bit scared to listen to a really long fantasy book because of
That
that.
is fair.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like everything just it sticks better in my mind if I read it physically compared to an audiobook. Some audiobooks definitely surprise me, like Dial A for Aunties. Really love that one, and I think the audiobook is amazing. So I will definitely listen to the sequel as an audiobook, and that's not something I never do. I there's it's very rare for me to feel like this is a book I need to listen to as an audiobook because that
Yeah.
it's gonna be amazing. It's not common for me to do that.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel that way with that book.
Yeah. I'm finding like with audiobooks, because I have ADHD, I really struggle to, and my audio processing is pretty terrible quite a lot of the time. So I was surprised and thought I'm never going to get on with audiobooks because I don't process audio very well.
Yeah.
But I found it was when I was doing my work commute, I was on the bus for like 45 minutes each way, and I couldn't do any marking because trying to read a physical book or do anything like that makes me feel really queasy. So I was like, I couldn't do any of the normal stuff. So I gave them a go, and that's where I started to listen to audio through doing that. And now quite often it'll be when there's certain video games where I've played like Fallout 4. I've played that game so much now I don't need the sound on. So what I'll do is I'll stick my headphones in or just have my audiobook playing, have the game playing on silent, because I'm only half paying attention to the game and half paying attention to the book. And it's quite interesting. Like now there was one mission that I was doing on the game, and I was like remembering the scene from an audiobook from a year ago that I was listening to when I last did that bit. I was like, oh yeah, I was listening to I think it was Margaret Owen's Merciful Crow. I was like, yeah, like I remember that scene, and they were in the market and doing this. And I think that's kind of what helps there, because it's adding a visual element to the audio. Because it's like there's another Final Fantasy VII, the remake. There's whenever I listen to that now, I think of Crescent City because that's what I was playing when I was listening to it. So I think for me, it adds the element of a visual cue.
That's cool.
So maybe that's why audiobooks are working really well for me now, because I found a way to process them without having to just sit quietly and listen. Because sitting quietly and still and doing nothing else is agony for me.
Yeah, I get that. Oh, like now when you're saying it, first of all, you're reminding me that I need to play Final Fantasy VII, the remake, and also the original one. I'm a huge Kingdom Hearts fan, but I have not played any Final Fantasy, so I need to get to that.
I couldn't get into Kingdom Hearts. I tried, but I've always been a Final Fantasy girl.
But Kingdom Hearts is so good. Oh god, like when the third game was released, I was one of those people that had been hyping it for years. And it was finally released, and it was the perfect timing because it was released I think like January 30th or something like that. And I was on a break between semesters because that was when I was going on my exchange, but I was going on like February 13th or something. So I had like 2 weeks with nothing
Nice.
other than just play Kingdom Hearts 3. That was like, oh, the dream.
That was me with Final Fantasy 7 remakes. That came out not long into the lockdowns.
Yeah.
And I remember because I bought the PlayStation the day lockdown started because I was like, if I'm now stuck in this house for the next 3 months, there is no way I'm not getting a PlayStation.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I'd been able to afford something like that. Just so I was like, and then I got it. I downloaded it at like 1 o'clock in the morning and played it through till like 5 o'clock the following morning. I played for over 24 hours straight. And then, like, I'm not going to spoil just in case people haven't seen it, but one of the fights that happened at the end, I wasn't expecting. It came out of nowhere and I just screamed with like joy and terror. And my fiance came running in the room and he was like, oh my God, what's wrong? What's wrong? What have you done? And I was just like,
I love when something can make you
so
feel
good.
that way, though. That's so cool.
I cried. Like the opening scene is beautiful. When you hear the music, huh?
Yeah, same reaction for me, but with Kingdom Hearts. Like
Yeah,
when I saw it, it was like, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, it is just
Yeah, but do I need to play the original Final Fantasy VII first, or should I play the remake first?
I'd say you don't have to.
Okay.
Like it helps to know the story of 7. But I would like say to someone if they're not sure, because I know some people really hate playing older games, and it's like, well, in that case, there are online things that give you a summary of what happened in the game and can give you the story. They did do a couple of bits that can, even people who've played this game and loved it for 20 plus years got very confused.
Yeah. Because
it was like, wait, who the hell are these guys? What's going on? And the very, very ending bit did throw a few people for a loop, and it was like, wait, what? And I know I had to look it up, and I know a few other people had to like find out what did it mean. So they have gone a very different direction with it, but the main storyline they've kept pretty much the same. So I would say if you enjoy playing older games, play the original first. So you get to know the characters and you can really then appreciate the updated graphics and all the voice acting and all of that. Because in the original, there isn't any voices. It's all just text bubbles. So I'd say, yeah, if you don't mind playing old games, do that first. But otherwise, I'd say just go straight into it. But if you get confused, either look it up or just send me a message and I'll explain to the best of my ability what the hell's actually going on. Or in the original, this happened.
Yeah. No, that's perfect, actually. I need to schedule like a video game day or something. I have a PS4, but I play so rarely. Like, I bought the Kingdom Hearts game, Kingdom Hearts 3. I pre-ordered it, but I didn't have the actual PlayStation for that. I just had an older PlayStation. So for months before, I started to ask like friends and family, like, hey, does anyone have a PS4 I can borrow for like 1 week? I don't need it for anything else. I just need to play Kingdom Hearts.
I'm
desperate. I actually got to borrow my brother's, and then I gave it back to him. And then like, I think 1 year ago, 2 years ago, I was like, I really want to replay Kingdom Hearts again. And like, damn, perhaps I should just bite the bullet and get a PlayStation 4. So I kind of made a deal with my mom because I was I was struggling with one of my math classes. It's like, if I can finally do this exam, if I can do that, she will pay half and I will pay the other half.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was the deal. And I finally passed the exam and I got my PS4. And now I have it and now I barely touch it, which is unfortunate.
I tend to go through periods like when my depression's bad and when my mental health is bad, I tend to write a lot more and I don't tend to play games because I put a lot of that emotion into my writing. But when I'm sort of good and when I'm okay and stable, I tend to like play tons of games. Like Genshin Impact last year, I sunk so many hours into that game. But yeah, I've set myself a challenge this year to try a new game every month.
Ooh, fun.
And it's like last month it was like this sci-fi game based around lost music or something. I don't really know. I didn't really get on with it, but I haven't picked what I'm doing yet this month. I'll probably play like My Hero or something.
Oh, fun.
So yeah, I want to try.
That's a good plan to have.
Yeah, I want to try new book genres, and I want to try. I was watching a video that Holly Hart's Books did, and she was saying about, oh, you know, lots of people set a goal every year of trying new genres, and she's like, screw that, I know what I like, give it to me. And I'm like, I'm like that, but also I do want to try. Like, you know, I've liked some historical stuff, but I've not liked others, so maybe I just haven't found the right thing. I've never even attempted horror, and I don't plan on it. But like thriller, like you said, I've just not found any yet that have really been my thing. Maybe it's just I haven't found the right one.
Yeah, but I kind of feel like it is that way with books, because there are genres, but there are also so many subgenres and like different tropes and all of that. So I'm the same way with like sci-fi. I've read some sci-fis, and I do think I would really love sci-fi, because I'm very much into like technology and science and also AI and stuff like that. That I think is really cool. But last year I read a few that were like first contact with aliens, and that was not my vibe. So I feel like there's just such a like variety of sci-fis, and I just need to find what subgenres and tropes in that genre that I appreciate, and similar with thrillers and all of that.
Yeah, like I found that I quite like parallel world sci-fis, like the TV show Sliders and Quantum Leap and things like that. I like those kind of sci-fis, but yeah, like you said, ones where it involves like aliens and stuff like that, I'm not so keen on. I quite like mecha as well. Like when I was younger, I used to be really into like mecha anime, like Gundam Wing and things. So I quite like robots and not necessarily AI, but I quite like that idea of, you know, technology and advancements and things. Time travel, I hate. I just cannot get my head around it, and no one's ever done it well. I've never found an author that's done it great. Like only a Monster, the arc that I was saying about, that did really well, but that was more of a fantasy type time travel rather than an actual time travel, so that was a bit different. But yeah, I find when you try to add time travel into things, it just gets overly complicated, and I end up going,
It's like it can either be so right or so wrong. I feel like certain just things in books are like, this can either be amazing or not work at all.
Yeah, when my last D&D campaign that I was a part of, I ended up hating it because the DM started to bring in a time travel element, and he was DMing two different groups the same campaign, but there was time differences, and I was getting so frustrated and so confused. I couldn't keep up, and I was getting, because I'm also autistic, so I was getting really overloaded and overwhelmed every single session, so I ended up leaving that campaign. So I was like, I just can't keep up with this. So I have discovered time travel is one thing that if I see it 9 times out of 10, I'll be like, nope.
Yeah, completely fair, and that's good to know as well. Good to know what you don't like, you don't appreciate. Very important. Okay, cool. But with that said, I think we're gonna wrap up these sprints now. Do you have anything you would like to add or say or promote, or feel free, the word is yours. Anything you want to end with?
Just like, again, really thank you. I've absolutely loved I know it's the first time that we've spoken directly, but like I've really loved getting to know you, and I'm hoping to do this again. And yeah, just the only sort of promotion that I've got is, if you haven't already, subscribe to Charlotte's channel. Like, because obviously I know most of you probably already have, but there might be a few people here that haven't yet. And yeah, I'm hoping tomorrow, as long as my health stays up, I'm hoping to run some sprints myself tomorrow and start doing my midweek slump sprints, as I'm going to call them, just sort of, you know, get over that Wednesday slump. And yeah, I also make bookish candles, and I have an Etsy store, so if you go over to my channel, you'll find a link there. They smell amazing.
Love her, love her.
So yeah, just thank you, and
Amazing.
like honestly, it's just been a really good, really fun readathon.
Well, I'm glad you have enjoyed it, and you really surprised me by like shout-outing myself or shout-out.
Well, I'm not going to just ignore the host. That's like going to a dinner party and not
promote.
acknowledging the food.
Yeah. You threw me off because I was like, yeah, and of course I want to promote. Okay, she's gonna say her channel, good, and like Charlotte, like what? Who? Me? Did not expect that.
Unpredictable.
Oh, cool. Well, thank you God, I've spoken too much today. Thank you everyone so much for joining us today. It has been lovely. It's so fun to see everyone doing amazing progress with their reading and with the Readathon and all of that. And good luck these final few days of the Readathon. I know you all will do amazing. I think perhaps I have not entirely planned it yet, but I think on Sunday I'm gonna have some more sprints for the Readathon as well, since it will be the final day. But yeah, I hope you will have a lovely rest of the week, and we will see you all soon. Take care, everyone.
Have a great week, everyone. Bye.